Well, welcome to Wells World of Whiskey, and this has been a while since I have purchased this guy, and I don't know what I was waiting on. I've sort of been so focused on doing more of the Canadian new distilleries and wanted to do the classics in Scotland. And you know, besides your whiskey and bourbon reviews, I really haven't paid attention to any of the new distilleries. Now, probably it's all about motivation, eh? And I'd read numerous reviews on this guy, and of course, when I say this guy, this distillery. They've done numerous, bottlings since this was done. And what I like about it is it's got a QR code, and I can get every little bit of information on this bottling. They are definitely transparent about what is going on in their distillery. So, you know, I have taken my time and I tried to do a fairly good, short presentation on this distillery, and you'll get a chance to see it. Anyways, it is now time to do a review, because I have not done a review for a while. And I'm going to do my first new distillery. I did do the story of the Whisky Loch and all the new distilleries, and I presented endless number of distilleries that have started up. Since the Bladnoch and a few of the earlier distilleries after 2000, 2010, 2012, 2013, 2014. I believe this was finished in 2014. I think the plan started in 2012. They broke ground 2013. This is in one of my presentations. I think it was called Another Whisky Loch or something to that effect. I'll have to check it out, but I did a presentation on all the new distilleries, and there is a lot of them in Scotland. And the big thing here was there were so many distilleries, and I did know and I remember this distillery, but it couldn't stand out because there were just too many distilleries that I was presenting. So impressive that I kept seeing this come up with different reviewers. And I don't think I ever heard a bad thing about this distillery. Plus, the most interesting area, the Ardnamurchan Peninsula, I better pronounce it right, the Ardnamurchan, which is the most westerly part of the UK mainland. And it actually is just above the Isle of Mull. So beautiful, it's supposed to be incredibly beautiful. Did a lot of research on it. I will be over in that area. I hope we get a chance to see it. The Ardnamurchan Peninsula is very remote. And you'll see with the presentation I do that it's quite a trip if you go north of Glasgow. And I'll let you watch the presentation without saying too much here, but it is a 4.5-5 hour drive, I guess, if traffic is good. And there's still a ferry crossing that has, and that was the shortcut, by the way. There's longer routes. But anyways, the distillery, why so remote? Probably because they can. And this is the Adelphi bottlers that have built this distillery, and they have a castle not too far from the distillery. That is their headquarters. So quite exciting, and I'm excited really to do this because I have been waiting patiently. Got a chance to try it in a whiskey bar. The owner of the bar was kind enough to bring me over a free shot of it. I was kidding around with him. I was asking for a Springbank, and he brought this over. So let's see what we've got here. I'm all excited about this. Is it going to compete with Springbank? And by the way, Springbank is very hard to get here, and for me to ask him for a Springbank is more in humor. Let's put it this way, I don't expect to see a Springbank in any of the bars around here, but there might be one that might show up by shock. Okay, we got the bottle open, so I'm going to scan the code there. And we'll get some information here. And oh my golly. Okay, so we'll show you what I got. So there is what is coming up. And you can see here all the information there after scanning it there. So interesting, eh? So quite unique. The Ardnamurchan people are, giving you all that information. I'm impressed. So anyways, just looking here at the information, this is bottle 1,390 out of 23,770, and it says of AD 10/2204. So this here was bottled November the 16th, 2022, about a year ago, by Lewis Hamilton. Okay. Now, we're going to do we're going to pour, let it sit for a bit, and that way I let it breathe. I'm guessing this is six-ish, maybe 7 years old, something in that area. Just reading reviews on the previous bottlings and how old this one would be. So just the actual date of distilling and all that. So interesting. But anyways, we're going to let it sit for a while. So, and then we'll come back and we will watch the presentation. So we'll let you watch my shorty that I am going to present you, and then we'll get into the review. Solange.
Situated in an extreme westerly part of the UK mainland and in one of the most remote and hard to reach areas, the Ardnamurchan Distillery is the first legal distilling to be done on this peninsula of the same name. In 2012, Adelphi and an established bottling company owned by Keith Faulkner and Donald Houston started building the new distillery west of their Glenbordell Castle in the hamlet of Glenbeigh on the Ardnamurchan Peninsula. This is considered one of the greenest distilleries with its renewable energy source and the farm feed and fertilizer byproducts recycled during whiskey production. The Glenmore River supplies both cooling water and hydroelectric power. A biomass boiler is fueled by wood chips from a local forestry. By 2014, production had started and the first 2,500 bottles were released in 2017 and sold out overnight. The distillery uses both unpeated and peated malt of different varieties, including Golden Promise. This historic barley may be low in its yield, but is high in flavor. The mash tun is filled with 2 tons of barley meal. Together with water, this yields about 10,000 liters of mash, which fills 4 Douglas fir and 3 stainless steel washbacks. Ardnamurchan does a 72 to 120 hour fermentation, which produces a fruity beer, and then heads off to the 10,000 liter wash still. The 6,000 liters of low wines from the wash still will charge the spirit still, where a slow distillation process is used, with lots of copper contact and reflux action. This distillery prefers higher cuts to get rid of the undesirable notes and produce a more refined, fruity flavor. The distillery has 7 dunnage warehouses that are mostly filled with American ex-bourbon, European oak, and ex-sherry casks from Jerez, Spain. They also have some Madeira and rum casks and are experimenting with other wine cask finishing, including champagne. Ardnamurchan Distillery is very transparent about the production of their whiskey. Every bottle of single malt has a QR code that can be used to trace the chain of events in the making and the cask finishing of that whiskey that goes into that specific bottle. Ardnamurchan Distillery is located on the extremely remote Ardnamurchan Peninsula, the most westerly part of the UK mainland. The shortest route is 4.5 hours from Glasgow, heading north on A82 to the Coran Ferry crossing, then west on A861 to Ceylon, where you stay west on B8007, a single track road to the distillery.
Well, we're back, and we've let it sit there for 10, 12 minutes, and we are going to get into it. Let's start with the nose. Well, I was expecting peat, but the peat is so light, I'm actually getting more fruit. So I'm getting the white fruits, I'm getting the light fruits, I'm getting the pears, getting some floral notes, maybe even orchids here, maybe lilacs, getting kind of a wee bit of a putrid thing going on here, but nice. It's not a negative thing. It's more of a just a smell. It's a little bit of cologne, leathery notes. That leather is more, I would say, more upholstery than saddle leather. I'm getting a wee bit of the almost the licorice, which is kind of something between the peat and the licorice and peat smoke, light smoke, but it's almost more of a distant smoke. Getting milk chocolate, wee bit of tobacco, just light tobacco, very light, but more the sweet pipe tobaccos, the aromatic pipe tobaccos. And now I'm getting some grapes. Oh boy, there's lots going on here. I could keep going. And there I got something tart going on there. The lemon's coming through. The lemon and even lime. Wow. Okay. I think that means we better get into the palate. Solange. Well, again, it's the fruit dominating and the peat in the background. I'm going to stick with the pears, and I'm going to stick with the apricots, and I'm going to say the licorice for sure. I'm going to say almost Dutch salted licorice. If there is anything to say about the peat is background peat. When I said distance, well, it's there, and it's a little bit more prominent on the palate right now. But certainly the fruit is the stronger notes right now. And now I'm getting the malt, and I'm going to say more cereal notes. It's not granola though. Almost like Cheerios. It's oaty. Oat cakes. And or Melba bread even. The Melba breads. A little bit of light sweetness, but more the digestive the digestive cookies. Now we're getting some tart stuff. I'm going to say that, again, that's going to be probably the grapes and raisins, some darker stuff, darker fruits. Now a bit of the peat's coming through, or the smoke. We could say maybe a distant bonfire, and I get a little bit of that taste on my tongue. And I think that's what's coating it is the peat. But geez, I got a little bit of smoked oysters there. Boy, lots of different things going on here. This is going to be the development and the finish. Solange. This has no bitter notes. That's what and this is, I taste the youthfulness of the whiskey, but not like some whiskeys. It's like, if I was trying to guess this, I'd say 9-10 years. I don't think it is, but I would say it's at least 9-10 years old. That's what I'm getting. They've done a good job on this. It doesn't taste like a 5 or 6 year old whiskey. It doesn't taste like a 7-year-old whiskey. It tastes more like a 9-10 year old whiskey. I'm getting now a little more of the peat, but it's coming on more toward the tail end now. And still getting a wee bit of the fruit there, but it's more dark fruit now. And I'm not sure, I think there was some sherry casks involved here. I'll have to do a little more research on it. Definitely the oak. I'm getting some spices, peppercorns, nutmeg. Even the baking spices are coming on. Some orange peels, but not bitter notes. This is interesting. No bitter notes. Geez, I don't know. I'm not sure how they're doing this. Dr. Jim Swan. Yeah, that might explain it. You know what's funny? I was kind of thinking when I bought this bottle how they're doing it, because I hadn't done as much research on the distillery. I listened to reviews. Nobody's mentioned Dr. Jim Swan, so I started doing research. But he always was in the back of my mind because he's one of my, I'm going to call him one of my whiskey heroes, and he helped these distilleries here, and this guy here, McAloney's, their success, I swear. And he was the brainchild behind this here. This won awards. This is a world-class whiskey. Kildare, McAloney's Kildare. This is a Jim Swan whiskey here in Canada. And it is good stuff. So, Cavalin Distillery. Amaroot. I mean, it just goes. He's got a huge list. He's got Kilchoman. Linder's Abbey. It just goes on and on. We could talk 25 distilleries that this guy has helped. Their start. So they can be making money at an earlier stage in their aging. So, but. Anyways, what I'm going to say is I think a lot of the success here, and I am not going to be critical of Adelphi because they have a good record. They've bottled some incredible whiskey, and they have the knowledge, but they did get Dr. Jim Swan to help them out a little bit, and I think a lot of it is where they were cutting their whiskeys, and I'm not even going to get into his their shaved toast and char their barrels and that. I think that's pretty standard with Dr. Swan. I mean, he was the father of that. His knowledge is influenced so many of the distilleries and the master distillers, the blenders, etc. So, but this could explain why this, which could be, I'm not sure, and I'll do a little more reading on 5, 6, 7-year-old whiskey, tastes like a 9, 10-year-old whiskey. I think that he deserves a little bit of the credit. Okay. Having said that, I think Adelphi deserves a lot of credit too. I've had some of their bottlings. I like their bottlings. I like, I like what I've read about them. So, anyways, the finish. We're going to go back to the finish here, okay? Because we did have a little digression there. The finish. This is a medium finish. It's gone back to the bit of the peat mixed with the berries, because we got berries going on, we got peat going on, we got some spices going on, but we do have, I would say, a medium finish to this. So very balanced whiskey. I feel like a kid here doing this video because I'm excited and I'm really enjoying this whiskey. Trying to be articulate and very focused, but when you have a really good whiskey, sometimes you lose your focus. And the most articulate thing I'm going to say is it's damn good. Medium finish. It has, I think, very balanced character to it. A lot of layers. Let's add some water, see what it does. And, when you watch the shorty, I sort of did it like, let's go on a trip to the Ardnamurchan Peninsula. Now, the Ardnamurchan Peninsula is a very difficult peninsula to travel to. And I might be traveling to it in the next 4 or 5 months. So my interest in researching this, because I love these wilderness areas, and the fact that it is one of the last of the wilderness areas in the UK. Why the heck would you put a distillery in such a remote area where they couldn't build a huge mash tun because they couldn't haul it over the bridges, because they got narrow track roads they had to come in on. These are single track. They're only so wide. I think it was 3.5 meters at the most, and that's the widest diameter mash tun they could build. So. But anyways. The answer is because they can. That's why. Anyways, we've added a little bit of water, and we're going to give it the nose. Oh, sweet. Now we got some sweet stuff going on. The sugars are coming out with the water. Actually, up till now, I didn't get that much sugar, but I'm getting it. Oh boy, the fruits. And Christmas. We're getting some Christmas pudding. I'm getting I'm getting some shortbread. I am getting tarts. I'm getting the butter tarts. Now I'm getting the citrus, the oranges, the oh boy, I'm getting lime cordial. And a wee bit of peat coming in now. So the peat's mixed with the fruit. Oh, I'm getting the flowers. Bouchard Gardens again, coming through here. Okay. Solange, the palate. Boy, did that open it up. Wow. I've got some spicy stuff going on. Not super hot, but I'm going to say I've got the nutmeg, bit of cinnamon, and ginger all at once. Nice coating on the mouth, even with I would say I have about a half dozen drops of water at the most. But a good coating on the mouth. So, with water, We're getting there's the smokiness, some smoke kippers maybe mixed in with, but there's a sweetness to the smoke kippers. It's almost, actually, this is more of a it's almost morphed into a sweet smoked salmon. We have what we call smoked candy, and we do up salmon. We might do it, with cure it. When we cure it, we might soak it in pear juice, apple juice, different fruit juices before we smoke it. With a wee bit of salt, but we really watch the amount of salt we put in. And that's what it tastes like. It tastes like smoked salmon candy. This distillery is going to do well. If they keep doing what they're doing here, they're going the right direction. If I'm enjoying this, I'm impressed with it. A young whiskey that tastes like an older whiskey, very balanced, a lot of fun to drink. I just see a future winning awards. I see a future trying to keep up to production. I also see the brokers, buying a lot of this stuff and making it hard to get a hold of, and we know what happens. It always does that, by the way. So just like Springbank. I am going to have to score this somewhere in the, it's the 85-ish area. It really is. I'm going to leave it at that. Ardnamurchan, impressive whiskey, impressive distillery. I'm going to say, you get the opportunity, grab a bottle. And on that note, I am going to ask you to drink wisely, drink intelligently, and do not drink and drive until the next time. So long.